I see red flags ignored in relationships, right? All across the board. But what happens is when we are so into what we want, we ignore the reality that's right in front of our face, right? When we're so into seeing the good in the situation that we ignore everything else. And what happens is when we ignore the red flags that are waving in our face, we set ourselves up to break our own heart. We set ourselves up to have our trust misused. We set ourselves up, right? A lot of times what happens is we ignore our common sense. How many of us have stayed in a place, have stayed in a situation, have stayed in an environment that our common sense was telling us to get out of? I can raise two of my hands right now. How many of us have ignored our common sense, right? Our common sense was saying, man, this ain't right. Our common sense was saying, man, this is too good to be true. Our common sense was like, man, this ain't real. Nah, this ain't. But we ignored it for whatever reason. Because some of us, let's be real about this. Like, I'm going all over the board tonight, but I want to touch your heart. Let me know. Thanks for the stars. I appreciate it. I want to just tell you right now, some of us, we are so afraid, right? We're so afraid of change that we will stay in things that keep us the same. We're so afraid of change. We're so afraid of healthy confrontation. We're so afraid of standing up for ourselves because we're afraid that we'll lose. And a lot of us, we don't future think. So right now, like some of us got red flags waving in our face, right? They just flags, just waving. They waving in your face and you're ignoring it. And I just want you to think about this for a second because we all been there. I've been there. But I want you to think about this just for a second. Just do this exercise with me. The simplest exercise that helps me make decisions immediately, right? That lets go of my feelings and reminds me of my facts. I want you to think about this right now. You don't have to close your eyes, but I want you to picture yourself a year from now. Just a year. Let's just start with a year. Picture yourself a year from now. And what's going to happen in your life, how are you going to feel if you keep ignoring those red flags that are waving in your face? If you keep pretending like it don't exist. If you keep being blind to what's in front of your face. If you keep ignoring your common sense. What's going to happen to your life? Let me know. What's going to happen to your life? How are you going to feel a year from now keeping the same things and accepting the same things, doing the same things, being around the same things, being involved in the same things? What's going to happen to your life? Let me know. Because this is what helps me. When it's hard for me making decisions in the moment, I think about the future. And I ask myself this simple question. Trent, if you keep allowing this, where are you going to be a year from now? Are you going to have more pain in your life? Are you going to have more peace in your life? You're going to have more happiness in your life? You're going to have more misery in your life? If you keep this in your life, what is it going to create? And that's the question I ask you right now. And I'm not telling you to cut people off. I'm not telling you to end relationships. I hate when people take that from my message. What I'm telling you to do is have some common sense in your life. And if you truly care about becoming the best you, if you truly care about being the greatest version of yourself, if you truly care about being the person that God created you to be, you cannot accept less in your life. It's just facts. And we all do it. Right? I'm not preaching you to the mountaintop. I'm talking to myself right now too. Because there's some red flags that's been waving in my face lately. Just waving. And I'm trying to ignore it because my good heart is seeing the good in the person. My good heart is seeing the good in the situation. My good heart is seeing, nah, but that person wouldn't do me like that. Nah, that person, nah, they ain't really. And those red flags are waving in your face. You know what happens? I like to use this analogy. Ignoring the red flags that are waving in your face is like ignoring a stop sign or a dead end sign and you keep driving. Yeah. Ignoring the red flags that are waving in your face, right? Waving in your face. Ignoring the red flags that are waving in your face is like ignoring a dead end sign and you keep driving. When you see a stop sign, what do? You stop. At least most of us do. If you see a dead end sign, you're not going to keep driving because if you keep driving, you're going to end up going off a cliff, end up running into something, end up going into a dead end. And so when we ignore the things that are waving in our face, that's what happens. So you might say, Trent, what are some red flags? I'm about to get into y'all's red flags in a moment, but I'll just tell you a few. I made a reel today on Instagram and on TikTok today about some red flags, and I'm just going to go off the cuss right now. A red flag for me in my life is a person that's always saying, trust me, right? A person that overly uses the word trust me. And y'all, don't overthink because some people say trust me and their trust is is credible, right? Their actions back up their words. But I know this, if somebody's always saying, trust me, trust me, trust me, and they have no credibility, they got no track record, right, of actually being loyal. They got no track record of actually doing the right things. They got no track record of actually backing up what they talk. If they ain't got no track record of actually cashing the check, right? Of actually cashing the check of what they talking about, because some people write checks that they can't cash. And so I look at that. So my antennas go up, right? My common sense antennas go bing. This ain't right. I get bing, right? Ding, like a text message. Ding, this ain't right. This ain't right. Right? So that's a red flag for me. And I want to tell you this, just because it's a red flag doesn't mean the person is bad. Maybe your red flags, let's talk about this. Maybe your red flags come from your past, right? Maybe you experienced some things in your past and then somebody showed you something similar that's nothing like your past, but because of your past, you are on guard. We're human beings, it happens like that. You know, another red flag for me is a person that always blames everybody else. That is a red flag for me, because that's telling me you take no damn responsibility over your life. And I cannot stand a person that don't take no responsibility. I mean, it's everybody. It's everybody. It's everybody. It's everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault, right? You just said it was everybody's fault. When is it going to be your fault at some point? When you going to take responsibility over your life? So when somebody's always blaming other people and they never take accountability, that's a red flag for me. That's a person I know lives like this, points the finger to everybody else and blames everybody else to make themselves feel good about the ownership that they're not taking over their life. That's a red flag that's waving in my face for me. And some of us, what we do is we ignore that. And we wonder why we get with people that aren't able. We wonder why we're around people that can't handle the word no. We wonder why we're around people that can't deal with failure, because they've been enabled their whole entire life, because they spend their whole entire life blaming other people for their actions, for their faults, for their mistakes, for their mess ups. That's a red flag for me. Another red flag for me is, make sure y'all write y'all's red flags too. I'm trying to mix this up a bit. Another red flag for me is this. When people are always saying that people in their past was crazy, right? People be like, all my exes was crazy, right? All my friends, they crazy, they bad, right? Everybody else is crazy and bad except you. Maybe you turned them that way. That's a red flag for me. If everybody is saying the same thing or experiencing the same thing from you once they interact with you, but you're sitting there saying it's all their fault, that's a red flag for me. Again, it's showing me that you take no ownership. Another red flag for me in life is this, right? This is a big one for me, just in business, in life in general. If somebody's always, let me let this breathe for a moment, because I'm about to go in. Let me take a sip of water. Hold on. I'm about to go in. Y'all share this too. Y'all share it. Press share, man. Get some people in here. Right? This is more than a trend. Right, we've been talking about this forever. I ain't no trendy person. But I want to take sip. I want to just slow down on this part, because this is a major one. A red flag, and I'm going to talk about a lot right here. For me, a big red flag when it comes to friends, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to people. If you're always trying to outdo me, right? I'm not talking about healthy competition, but if you always trying to outdo me, right? If I get something, you got to get something better, right? If you're always trying to outdo me, if you're always trying to outshine me, right? If you're always in competition with me, and the truth of the matter is, I want y'all to know this, and don't overlook this. I mean, don't overanalyze this, because it might not be true for everybody on this live, but it may be true for someone on this live. Sometimes there's people in your life that are in competition with you and you ain't even know it. That's why they mad that you winning. You come around them, their energy fell off, right? You got something good for your life. You got a blessing in your life. You're excited, and they act different. They're not as excited for you, right? Because they're in competition with you. And some people are mad at you, and all you have done was get the best out of your life. And they mad at you because you better than yourself. there's people that are silently competing with you. Not for everybody, but somebody in here, if you look around your circle, you look around your friends, and you feel bitterness, you just feel it. You feel jealous, you just feel it. Trust the vibes they give you. Energy can't lie. Words can lie. Even action can lie sometimes. But the energy, it can't lie. People can't manipulate energy. And so when you feel something for somebody, I would pay attention. That's a red flag. When I feel a certain thing for somebody, I analyze it deeper. Right? I give them the, I'm not going to say that because it's probably a bad analogy to say. But I give them the rope, basically. You know what I'm saying? I won't finish the rest of that analogy, but I give them the rope. I give them the rope when it comes to that. Because I want to sit back and see, but a lot of us, I'm going to just be honest with you, man. A lot of us, we ignore those things because, oh, that's my homie. I've been knowing my homie for years. They wouldn't be jealous of me, right? But then they put in a little slide distance like, oh, you still doing that little business? Or you still writing that little book? I can't tell you how many people where I'm from will to this day would say, hey, you still doing that little rehab time thing? Yeah, I'm still doing that little rehab time thing. You're damn right I'm still doing it. But it lets me know that's jealous. That's jealousy talk. When people put in those little words like little, right? They belittle what you do. They always try to downplay what you do. They're not excited about what you do. And those are the people that you choose to keep your life around. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're around people that ain't excited for you, for your wins, for your happiness, for your joy, get your ass from around them. And excuse my French, Mom, please forgive me. Get your ass from around them. Straight up. You should have no tolerance for people in your life that don't want to see you win, that don't want to see you do better. And some of us are around people that's dressed as teammates, but they operating as opponents. Hello. Yeah, it's getting really here tonight right now. And that's facts. But you want to keep your life around that because the history, oh, I've been knowing this person for 10 years, 11 years. Don't let the history keep you in the misery. Somebody told you that in the video, and it was me, right? Years ago. Don't let the history keep you in the misery. Don't let the length of the friendship keep you in the friendship. Because I'm speaking facts to you right now. And if you feel that, drop it in the comments. Maybe you're not going through this right now, but some of you are, and I know it because I can feel it in my soul. And that's why I'm passionate about this right now. Because some of us, we're around people, you know what? They always say they're proud of you. Because that's the easy thing to say. They want to try to hide their jealousy. They want to try to hide their envy. They disguise it in words like, I'm proud of you. Right? I'm proud of you. But they never take the time to support you. They support all these celebrities. They support people they don't know. But when it comes to supporting you, they don't support you. You got a merchandise line. They buying stuff from Urban Outfitters. They ain't never bought a shirt from you. Right? You wrote a book. They bought everybody else's book. They ain't buying yours. And not saying they obligated to do that, but I want you to pay attention to it because somebody who's truly proud of you, they won't just say it. They will take the time to support you. And that's facts. And some of y'all, what y'all doing is y'all sitting there and you waving red flag, and those red flags that are waving in your face. And you sit there and you ignore it. And you ignore it. Another red flag. All right, I'm gonna get off of this and I'm gonna read y'all's red flags. Another red flag. Listen, guys, we all have been the red flag. Let's be real, right? I'm not a perfect human being. I'm sure people got red flags on me, right? Oh, this or that, whatever it may be. So I'm not trying to blame and look, oh, everybody's a red flag. But the thing about me, I can check my damn self. I can look in the mirror and say, hey, man, you tripping. Hey, you know, you need to fix this. You need to tighten this up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to tighten this up. It takes 5 seconds to support somebody. 5 seconds to support somebody that you value. You can press like, right? They don't take that long. But you got people that's riding with you, right? They don't even support you. And you know what's going to happen? As soon as that car run out of gas, those people that was riding with you, they going to help you push that car. They're going to hop in somebody else's whip and go with them. You know what? And another red flag for me, let's stay on this topic. Another red flag for me is this. If you have no friends, okay? And better yet, I'm not talking about being a loner. I'm a loner. I'm not talking about being an introvert. I'm an introvert. But I'm talking about this. If you have no history of friendships, and even this, if you change friends with the seasons, if every time you're around a new circle, that's a red flag for me. If you can't keep constant people in your life, that's a red flag for me. And maybe they're difficult, right? Maybe it's the 1% of the world that's just difficult and it's just, you're the anomaly of this. But let's be real. At the end of the day, if you can't keep people in your life, you got to look at yourself. But what do? We ignore the red flags that are waving in our face, and we wonder why we're hurt over and over and over again. And I can talk about this for 3 hours, y'all. But I think that y'all get the point. So what do you have to do about it? I know some of y'all asking, like, what do I do about it? You wake up, you trust your common sense, you trust the facts of the situation, and you do something about it. You do something about it. You make a decision. You make a choice for your life. Because again, the more you ignore it, the more you accept it, that's exactly what you're going to get. That's exactly what you're going to deserve. You can't be mad at nobody but yourself. You can't be mad at nobody but yourself. Nobody but yourself. Let me get in these comments right now, man. Whoo! I always say, figure out who praying on downfall. Yeah, why you praying on the come up? For sure. Everybody's prayers for you ain't to make it. Please understand that. When people say they praying for you, I ask them, what you praying for me for? I do. Because everybody's prayers for you ain't to make it. Everybody ain't praying for you to make it. It is sad that I have to say that. It's sad. It's sad that I got to say that, but it's the truth. Everybody ain't praying for you to make it. Another red flag for me. If I'm around somebody that's all, oh man, golly, this is a real one tonight. I feel sorry for the people that's missing out on this one. Another red flag for me. Okay, and I'm sticking on this friendship thing, man, because a lot of us got some terrible friends in our life that we're keeping in our life. I'm going to stick on this one. Another red flag for me. I know a lot of y'all can relate. If you can relate, drop the red flags in the comments. It's a red flag for myself when I, hold on, let me get my water right quick. Hold on. Chelsea says, stop making excuses for red flags and put yourself first. Absolutely. All right, we got to stop making excuses on why somebody hurts us, why somebody does us wrong. Oh, it's how they was raised, oh, this or that. They grown, right? They grown. They know right from wrong. People know right from wrong. A big red flag for me. A big red flag for me. If you're always talking down, this is social media 101. If you always talking down on a person, but you still choose to be around that person, but you still choose to follow that person, but you still choose to conversate with that person, but behind their back you talk down on them, they ain't this, they ain't that, but when you in their faces, kiki and goo-gooing in their face, you don't keep the same energy to their face as you do behind their back. If you dragging their name through the mud when they ain't around, but in their face, you sitting there high-fiving them, kissing their butt, but behind their back you talking bad about them, behind their back you can't stand this person, but yet you still go out with that person, you still go to dinners with that person, you still conversate with that person. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know a lot of people like this. That is a red flag for me. That will be the quickest thing for me that will get you out from my life. Facts. Because if you're doing that about them, then I know you would do it to me. I always say loyalty shouldn't depend on your presence. Some people think loyalty means in front of your face. No, what loyalty is when you're not there. And that's a red flag for me. If you're talking about a person that you still choose to stay around, that's a red flag for me. And that's the quickest way to get from around me. Because for one, I don't do well with people talking about people like that anyway. If you always got somebody's name in your mouth, it's a red flag for me. If you always know the most about somebody else's life, you gossiping about their life, gossiping, which I know is a normal human trait because a lot of people do it. But if you gossiping about somebody's life and oh man, I'm about to share this right now. If you gossiping about somebody's life and you ain't got your own life on track, red flag on the plate, 1,000 red flags. If you sit there gossiping, talking about somebody else's life, I don't care if it's a stranger, but you ain't got your life. If you get your high for making somebody else feel low, red flag to me. Right? If you get your happiness by being bitter towards someone else, red flag for me. I cannot stand, and I know that's a strong statement, but I cannot stand individuals who mind other people's business more than they mind their own. That is a red flag for me. I had somebody today on my Instagram, right? Some of y'all know me and Maria had a bet, right? We had a bet about upgrading the ring. It was a funny bet. I had somebody in my Instagram talking crazy to her, talking a few people, right? Telling us what we should do. Like, you shouldn't invest in that. You should invest in land. You should invest in this. You should invest in that. All in my life. And I think it's funny because I hit her back. I'm like, listen, Number one, I appreciate you. Number two, you should invest in minding your own business because you don't know what I'm investing in. Don't tell me how to live my life. And that's the problem that we have these days. We're so invested in other people, not in a positive way. We're so invested in other people's life that we don't mind our own. So if you're a person like that, that's a red flag for me because I know that you are immune to actually focusing on your life and working on yourself. And I refuse to be around people who don't want to work on themselves. I refuse to be around people who judge others as if they but is perfect. I refuse to be around people who spotlight other people's imperfections, but they become blind to their own flaws. I refuse to be around that. And if you addicted to that, then you got to get away from me. I don't want to be around that. That's a red flag because I've ignored that a lot of times in my life. You know what happens? Those same people flip the script. Those same people, when I decided to remove from my life, those same people start talking bad about me. Another red flag is this: when I tell you no, right? Some of y'all got people in your life that can't handle the word no, right? That can't handle you not doing something for them because you're enabling them. And a red flag for me is when you start to be a crybaby when you get told no. Because that lets me know this: no matter how many yeses I tell you, no matter how many things that I do for you, no matter how many things I give you, no matter how much I support you, how much I believe in you, soon as I decide not to do it, even if I did 100 yeses and one no, you're going to criticize me for that no. You're going to forget about all the things I did to you. You're going to paint a picture to the world that I'm this person because I told you no. Red flag, bro. Red flag. So, at the end of the day, I've been talking too much. I'm going to get into some stories here with the people that want to stay on here. At the end of the day, the end of the freaking day, if you choose to ignore the red flags that are waving in your face, you only can blame yourself. That's it. Hey, what's up, rehabs across the world? Trent here. Thank you for watching our new video. I hope it impacted your life. Listen, we're impacting lives all across the world. I want you to know this. It's because of you. It's because of you supporting the messages and sharing the messages. And speaking about sharing the messages, if this video touched your heart, if it's on your heart, please press share because I promise you this. There's somebody in the world right now that needs to watch this video. And by you pressing share, you become a hero in their life. I get messages every single day say, Trent, I had no idea what rehab time was yesterday, but my friend shared the video. I saw it on the timeline, and man, did I need it. We're gonna continue to impact the world only with your help. We appreciate you. But like I say at the end of every single video, it all starts with you. It's rehab time. Let's get it.